back. They are back with a big bang. And obviously, when I say the guys, I'm doing this with Sami and Kofi. They are here, guys. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good
You're
morning.
good?
Good morning. Yeah.
Yeah. How was your weekend?
It was good. It was good.
Good.
Very good.
I
Yes.
mean, in the world of sports, anything that caught your eye over the
It
weekend?
was a busy weekend. There were lots of things to enjoy over the weekend. Top football matches. Barca lost, so that was a highlight for me. Liverpool lost.
So that was your highlight.
Yes.
Barcelona and Liverpool losing.
Exactly.
You're excited.
Yes.
Kofi, your highlight over the weekend. I mean, the world of sports.
Well, obviously, I think that with time we'll be vindicated, and we've constantly said on this show. I've constantly said on this show is that club slots is a Matra Macquarie coach, and I think that time is vindicating these very comments from myself. And I've watched Liverpool, I've watched Barcelona. Interesting weekend. We'll get into the details.
Obviously,
but,
we'll get into the details there. So, I mean, you heard from the main guys on the show, Sami and Kofi. We'll be getting into the discussion pretty shortly. But, I mean, more importantly, make sure you subscribe to the link. It's Sport 101 on YouTube, on Facebook as well. It's Sport 101. And you can have access to every single content that we display, we put out there. So more importantly, make sure you subscribe and share the link. Tell your friends, the guys are back. I mean, this is where you need to be watching every Monday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. and Thursdays as well, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. But before we get into that discussion, obviously, let me run by you some major issues that happened over the weekend, or some major talking points over the weekend. One of them is the fact that Martin Odegaard is out injured, and Arsenal have confirmed that he's torn his ligament, and obviously they are looking at a possibly 2 months out and probably beyond. So some big blow for Arsenal there. Also in the camp of Manchester City, and as you watch the game against Brentford, Rodri had to be substituted because he was feeling some pain in his muscles. But after the game, he granted an interview saying that he's okay. He just felt some bit of pain in his knee, but he's sure that it's part of the process. As a result of that, he will not be joining the Spanish national team over the weekend for the 2-week break for the World Cup qualifiers. Also in some injury news as well, Lamine Yamal, there's some bit of controversy between Barcelona, Luis de la Fuente, and the REFF in relation to what de la Fuente is doing when it comes to Barcelona players, always finding a way to call them even when he knows very well they are injured. Laporte has been speaking in relation to that, saying that Barca will take a stand and they will not allow their players to be used by the Spanish Federation. He spoke after de la Fuente, knowing very well that Lamine Yamal is not really fit. After Barca sent the medical report of Lamine Yamal to the team doctor, he went ahead and still invited Lamine Yamal. Barca had to come out and say that no, the guy is injured and he'll be out for 3 weeks. De La Fuente faced, the media, and he was asked some tough questions. He says that for him, he believes that he needs to confirm with the player. If the player wants to play, he has no other option than to invite him. Mark Bernard also has turned down, a call up for the under-21 national team, saying that he's also injured and he's recovering and he can't join the team as well. So these are some injury news that we need to put out there. And if your club has been, affected, I mean, sad news for you. But we'll get into other stories. Obviously, we'll be looking at the Premier League, what happened over the weekend. We'll get into the La Liga. We'll get to talk about some other issues in here, primarily and major on the chopping board this morning is Arne Slot. Some believe that, the man has been found out. Found out means that, people have gotten used to him, realize that, okay, this man has nothing good to offer. Others believe that he rode on the success of Jurgen Klopp, and now he has to build his own team. He's struggling. Liverpool have lost 3 games in a row. They lost to Crystal Palace. They lost to Galatasaray, and now they've lost to Chelsea. Some believe that, come on, it's just a blip. It happens to every team. You need to go through that, then you become better. Some things that no, this onslaught cannot actually lead Liverpool to another title. We'll get to talk about that as well. Kylian Mbappe, red hot form for Real Madrid. Harry Kane also in an amazing form for Bayern Munich, and Erling Haaland in great form for Manchester City. We'll get into all the nitty gritties and all of that. But guys, once again, you're welcome. But more importantly, if you want to call in into the show, we'll give you the opportunity to call in. So don't worry. And you get to see the guys. The guys will get to see you. You get to interact with us. So as the show goes on, we'll obviously give you the opportunity to call in via video call, video chat, and join us right here in the studios live on Sport 101. Okay. So, I mean, Kofi, more importantly, let's start from the La Liga. And you made mention of. Okay, so before we get to the La Liga, we'll take a quick break. We'll come back. This is our morning show. It's a sports morning show. All right, so welcome back. This is our Sport Morning Show, and you're live right here on Sport 101. Kofi, before we went off, I wanted us to delve into the La Liga. We've seen, Real Madrid losing to Atletico Madrid by 5-2. Yesterday, it was the turn of Barcelona. They lost heavily to Sevilla, a game a lot of people did not expect Barcelona to lose. But it wasn't just how they lost. A lot of commentary have come out to say this is Barca's worst performance since Hansi Flick took over. And the manager himself has admitted that he didn't know what hit the team. They didn't play according to plan. They were all over the place. And I listened to Pau Kobasi where he made mention of the fact that if there's going to be pressure on the defense, it's obviously going to start from the attack. They didn't press well. Everybody that, like, it wasn't a Barcelona a lot of people recognize. What happened to Barcelona yesterday against Sevilla, Kofi?
Well, I don't know why you keep repeating the words. It wasn't the Barcelona everybody. The point is that Barcelona got away with murder a lot of the times last season playing the high line. And if you want to play the high line, you want to play the high line with a certain kind of players, you understand? Certain kind of players who have a particular skill set. But the truth of the matter is that if you look through the complexion of the Barcelona team, a lot of them are mediocre. A lot of them do not deserve to be playing for Barcelona. We have had the benefit of watching Barcelona over the period, you understand? And if you look at this current Barcelona team, Araujo, he doesn't deserve to be playing for Barcelona.
It was terrible yesterday.
No, he has always been terrible. And especially if you want to play the high line, I do not know why it is that Hansi Flick prefers Araujo over Eric Garcia. Because if you want to play the high line, Araujo is not the guy to play
People
in that
question
center
that
back.
decision,
Exactly.
yeah.
So you look at Araujo, you look at, what's the name of the other...
Darren Martin.
No,
Araujo partnered Pau Kobasi in central defense.
Kobasi.
Yeah.
I am talking about the people who do not need to be playing for. Even Dani Olmo's suitability to this Barcelona team needs to be questioned. You understand? They are the forwards. So
there was Rashford in there.
Rashford was superb.
Yes, he was
Rashford
very good yesterday.
was the best player on the pitch
There's
yesterday.
Lewandowski as well. And all of
I'm
that.
talking about Torres.
Yes, Pau Torres. Ferran Torres.
Ferran Torres. I mean, these guys are bang average. And the point is that
you can't argue with.
yes, the point is that I have always seen this coming. Because, like Thierry Henry said last week, if you play against a team that is very disciplined, that can play through the lines, and that is tactically adept to looking at the structure that you have presented and then trying to punch holes into it like Sevilla did yesterday, like PSG did in the course of the week, you understand? You realize that Barcelona do not have the kind of players who are suited for the high line. My point is simple. If you want to play the high line, first of all, you need to get players who are athletically flexible.
Very quick.
You understand? But you look at this Barcelona defense, very slow. Very, very slow. Kunde, together with probably Baldi, together with all of the centre back. The only person you can shield from all of this has to be Kubasi.
But you would admit that Kunde has been one of Barca's best players.
No, but Kunde has been terrible in terms of form this season.
Yes, but I mean it happens to a lot
He
of
has
players.
lost form. The question is, do you have a suitable replacement for Kunde?
No.
That's the point. You understand? I mean, in the past, somebody like Sergi Roberto was deputizing in the right fullback position.
Yeah.
But the point is that you look at this Barcelona team now. Where are the people who can be able to step up from the bench and then substitute first teamers when they are not performing?
Is this team becoming a Rafinha, Lamine Yamal team that without them, the attack literally is blunt?
Well, I don't think that has to be the cause. I do not think that any of them would have performed any better than Rashford did yesterday.
But don't you think that if Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, these players, if both players were in the game yesterday, at least they would have posed a much more bigger threat than the attack that they presented
the point
yesterday?
is simple, and I'll repeat the points that I made earlier, that I do not think that any of the two players that you have mentioned would have done any better than Rashford did yesterday. And for me, I think that the fundamental issue with Barcelona has not got to do with the attack.
It's with what?
It's got to do with the defense, you understand? And it's got to do with who it is in the midfield that has to plug off those gaping holes, you understand? Once again, brings into question the whole argument about who it is that plays in the midfield of Barcelona. Yesterday, they were overrun in the middle.
It's one of those games that even the best sometimes get they don't have their day.
No, but
because we all agree that these two midfielders, the combination of Pedri, the combination of Pedri, Frankie de Jong, are going to be one of the best in the world.
No, they are not one of the best in the world. They are not one of the best in the world. Against PSG, they were heavily exposed. You understand?
Name about three teams that can present any midfield duo that can compete with these guys.
Go into those dynamics.
That's the point.
I am not going to go into those dynamics because it's an exercise in futility.
Okay.
The point is simple. If you come up against Sevilla and you are overrunning the midfield like you were, if you come up against a PSG team that was almost half full, then you are overrunning the midfield, and then they cause all sorts of collateral damage to you, then we have a problem.
Sammy,
it is becoming one too many.
Sammy, I'm sure you do have your take on what happened to Barcelona and all that, but do you agree with Kofi on the fact that you think that the midfield needs a look at? I believe that, listen, these two pairings, when you have a controller, if you have somebody who can play between the lines, these two are the best. Arguably, they are one of the best. If you are looking for top three midfield duos in the world, you cannot look beyond them in any of the big teams. But Kofi believes that they are not. What's your take on what Kofi said in terms of Barca's defense having issues, Barca's midfield as well? Then you can also tell us what you genuinely think that went wrong for Barcelona, and if there are issues with Barcelona.
Obviously, there are issues with Barcelona. I think there are. We saw that in the last two games. I think this Barca side is short in terms of the quality of the squad. If you take out that first team, you look at what they have on the bench, you can't compare that with some of what the other top teams that they are competing with in Europe have. So yesterday, for example, you look at the changes that Hansi Flick made. He brought on 3 defenders.
Yeah.
out of the 4 changes that he made, 3 of them were defenders. So it tells you that Barca are lightweight on the bench. If you take out Lamine Yamal, who is out injured, there's Rafinha, who is also out. These are the 2 biggest threats for Barca going forward. Now, Pedri, Frankie de Jong, brilliant players. I think that when you look at them in that system that Hansi Flick is playing, as Kofi said, I agree. When they come up against an energetic midfield, a midfield that is not tired of running, especially a midfield that plays a 3-man midfield. Yesterday we saw Pedri, Frankie de Jong, and then Dani Olmo was playing as a 10.
As a 10.
Now, when you have that midfield trio that Sevilla had, when you have a midfield trio of Vitinha, of Fabian Ruiz, of João Neves, who are always moving, at some point in the game, this Barca midfield will be overrun because Dani Olmo playing as a 10 is not necessarily playing as a central midfielder.
And he's also lost form.
Exactly. So it leaves Pedri and Frankie de Jong
having to contend with
having
3 people
exactly
who are very good as well.
And then this is a team that plays the high line.
Yeah.
And Araujo, I think, has not been good so far this season. You look at Kubasi, yes, he's a very good player, but the system is not favoring them. And then these 2 guys in midfield, Pedri with all the creativity and everything, Frankie de Jong sits back a little bit. That system that Hansi Flick plays with the quality that he has is actually limiting this Barcelona side. What Barca relies on heavily has to do with their wing play. The quality that Lamine Yamal brings in from the flanks, the quality that Rafinha brings in, what Rashford is doing at the moment. And so when you have a team that eliminates these guys, we saw what Nuno Mendes did in the Champions League, especially in the second half. In the first half, it was evenly balanced because Lamine Yamal had his moments. But in the second half, he got into the game. And so when you take out that threat that Barcelona have from the flanks, then it neutralizes about 60% of the threat that Barcelona have. And when you overrun them in midfield, then the likes of Pedri and then Frankie de Jong get to start having a difficult time catching up. And so teams have studied this Barcelona side and seen how they play. Once you can play through the lines and then get that pass that eliminates about 2 or 3 players from this Barca side, and then you have a high line, this Barcelona system where they play the high line. You saw the goal, for example, in the Champions League, Gonzalo Ramos's goal. And after the game, he mentioned that he knows that Barcelona play a high line.
That goal was an offside.
It wasn't offside. If you really understand the rules of the game, it was a clear goal. If you want to play a high line, what he did was just to stay ahead of the defense. He knows that if he stays ahead of the Barcelona defense, obviously Hakimi is playing out wide. When the ball goes out wide, he's not offside because Hakimi is onside. And so when Hakimi passes the ball, he just has to be behind the ball. So he could be ahead of the Barcelona backline, but once the ball comes to him and he is behind the ball, he's not offside.
Hans Flick says or believes that, listen, this is his way of playing football. This is his way of playing football with this Barcelona team. He believes in a particular way. He thinks football should be played with this Barcelona team. He's not going to change. We all agree that even there are times when I think that 90 plus minutes, you shouldn't be playing the high line. Against PSG, it was 90
Just
plus.
manage the game.
Against Inter, when you had qualified, it was 90 plus. You shouldn't be. But he's so stuck in his philosophy and his ideas that, do you think that the call by many, listen, there are times where you need to change a little bit, change that those calls are right?
Oh yes, in-game management. You might be up, but at some point you might be drawing at some point.
Yeah.
You see that the game is still evenly balanced. You don't take unnecessary risks. And so what Barcelona have at the moment, there was a time where they had 3 brilliant controllers in midfield.
Yeah.
You had the Busquets, you had Xavi, you had an Iniesta. All 3 of them are very good in terms of controlling in tight spaces, in terms of distribution and all of that. But here's a case where you have a Pedri, a Frankie de Jong, and who? That number 10 role is not necessarily for anyone in particular.
But they did
you have maybe a
against
Ferran Torres
Newcastle.
That is Newcastle. Ferran Torres
controlled
that comes
7
in.
minutes.
You have maybe a Daniel Olmo that comes in at some point. And so you need to have certain kind of players in a team to play a certain kind of system. And as it stands now, I think that Hansi Flick, for all his brilliance, he is actually overworking Pedri and Frankie de Jong, because that third force in that midfield is what is lacking for Barcelona.
Gavi is out, Mark Bernal is out, Casado is injured.
Yes, and so that's the point I'm making. So you analyze the team that you have, you look at the strength of your players, and you'll realize that, look, Barcelona have I think it's Granada or one of those teams to play next. Then they play in the Champions League against Girona.
Yeah.
Yes, I know it's a G. And then Olympiacos, and then it's their Clásico.
Yeah.
And so if Barca go into their Clásico with this kind of form, playing in this manner, they will be beaten. And that's where Hansi Flick needs to understand how he plays, because you look at the pace of Mbappe, you look at Mastantuono, you look at Ada Gula, you look at Vinicius. All these guys running in behind that Barcelona backline, it's dangerous for Barcelona, especially if Barca do not have the outlet that they are used to having in Lamine Yamal, Rafinha, Rashford, and all these guys. So, in my opinion, I think that Hansi Flick needs to look at the system. It's worked for him, but he needs to look at the quality of his side. And as it stands now, Barcelona are lightweight on the bench. Even the starting 11, I think if Barca had the full complement of their squad, we wouldn't be seeing certain players starting in this Barcelona lineup. So as it stands now, Hansi Flick needs to look at what he has, and then it only makes sense to adjust.
Kofi, should he adjust? It reminds me of what Ruben Amorim said. He's not going to change. You know, some of these managers who are very, very ingrained and engrossed in their philosophy, way of play, systems, tactical, tweaks. Pep Guardiola at some points was so he would not change for anything. But I think you've seen him evolve and all that. But Kofi, should he change based on the weaknesses both of you have, literally enumerated out there? Is it time he tweak things a little bit to suit what he has at his disposal?
Well, I think Sammy speaks finely, but the truth of the matter also is that when it comes to coaches, they see beyond what the layperson sees. You understand? I mean, they live and die by their principles every time their players get onto the pitch, and so it served him well. I would not necessarily say that Hansi Flick is a student of that theory.
No.
Because up until Barcelona, we had not seen any of his teams play that way.
Yeah.
Probably has analyzed the squad, has looked at the strength of the team, has looked at the ways to optimize the strength of the team that he has, and has decided that will be the best approach. But like Sammy said, I think that sometimes you need to be a bit pragmatic. Sometimes you need to be tactically flexible. Against PSG, there was no need throwing all of the risk. You understand? Like they did. You understand? Sometimes I think that I think that he needs to look at some variables in terms of how he sets up his team at various stages of the game. Once he's able to do that, but like Sammy said, I think that if Barcelona keep playing this way, it will get worse. If they keep playing this way, if they keep playing
last season,
if they keep playing this way, they have not met any of the big teams. All of the big teams they have met, they have failed.
but last season they met.
We cannot use the dynamics of last season. Real Madrid is an entirely different team now. Real Madrid is a team that is reborn. They are trying to go on another project. You understand? Last season was Ancelotti.
So let's look at them this season.
This season it's Alonso. I am saying that if Barcelona keep playing this way, especially against teams who know their onions, they are going to be beaten. It's going to get worse. And for me, I think that he needs to add a certain element of variance to the Barcelona team. If he doesn't get, look, Barcelona have met two quality teams this season. They've been beaten heavily. Against PSG, they were beaten heavily.
Apart from PSG.
Against Sevilla, who traditionally are a powerhouse in Spain.
Sevilla,
you understand? No. Exactly. No. Exactly
why a lot of people
why.
were shocked Sevilla beat them the way they
Exactly
beat them.
why it raises the alarm bells that are being rung now. Because if this relegation bound Sevilla can expose Barcelona in the manner they did, imagine Atletico Madrid, imagine Real Madrid, imagine all of the other big teams, imagine Inter Milan. So you imagine Chelsea.
But the finally, before we switch the conversation, talk about Real Madrid, the conversation I think we are not having to is the fact that can we also admit that they are short in terms, and like Sammy said, lightweight, not in terms of the personnel that they do not have, but the personnel that are injured. Gavi is out, Casado is out, Marc Bernard is out, Lamine Yamal is out, Rafinha is also out. When you have under normal circumstances, Daniel Mo does not start in any game. There's Rafinha, there's Lamine who give you. Arguably, they are one of the best attacking duo you can find in Europe now in midfield as well. When it is set, this team is set. So can we also look at that there's also the aspect that the team is lightweight a
Who are
little
the
bit.
best attacking duo, midfield duo?
No, I'm talking about these two players. You cannot in Europe. You cannot talk about. No, I never said they are the best. I say they are one of the best attacking duos in the world. No, I'm not talking about. No, I'm talking about Lamine Yamal and Rafinha.
Oh, attacking duo.
Attacking duo, Rafinha.
What are Lamine's figures?
Oh, again, are we going there?
Why is he out at the moment?
Why is he out? Stop.
No,
Why is he out?
you know why he's out.
No, but
he's injured. He's
I did.
I hear you saying.
He has a pubic injury. I mean,
No,
he
I
has a
mean the
pubic
Spanish
injury.
call. I mean that's hernia. You
No,
understand?
no,
I mean,
that's
if you
not
go
hernia.
to main Spain, they call it hernia.
No, that's not hernia. It's hernia. Hernia is
No,
everywhere.
but the point is
Hernia is
because of
everywhere.
the activities that he's
Oh, no,
been
it's not
involved
because
in.
of hernia
That
activity.
is why he had the pelvic injury.
No, it's a pubic injury.
What?
Pubic, P-U-B-I-C.
Exactly. So
It has nothing to do
pubic.
with.
You understand?
You only get injuries like that when you do things that are
Exactly.
above your age.
The
How
guy
did he
is
get
biting
pubic
more than he can chew.
What's a tank run? You know the way they say. What's a conyoni and the too bad. But anyway, guys, let's switch to, their arch rivals, Real Madrid. They bounced back after a heavy defeat to Atletico Madrid, beating Villarreal by 3-1. One player that I want us to look at is, Vinicius Jr. He's ghosted, since the start or the turn of the season, even last season, after the Ballon d'Or, Mace, he came back, he would come back strong and better. Samir has always made one comment, and I think that it's high time I begin to agree with him. He's always said that, listen, Kylian Mbappe at Real Madrid will win the Ballon d'Or way before, Vinicius wins it. But in that game against Villarreal, I think he gives us glimpses of the old Vinicius Jr. Real Madrid, Villarreal, 3-1 after their defeat to Atletico Madrid. Specifically, is Vinicius back?
I wouldn't say Vinicius is back, but there was something interesting I noticed with Real Madrid.
Okay.
They are learning to play as a team, and they are learning to work together as a team. One of the dynamics that affected the settling down of Kylian Mbappe and then probably the usurping of who it was the alpha male in that dressing room.
But now they all understand the boy is the alpha male.
I mean, I will even come to that. The point is simple. If you looked at last season, there was seemingly some rifts between Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Jr.
Yeah.
But under Alonso, if everything we saw over the weekend is what it is, look, we know that the first penalty taker for Real Madrid is Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah.
The question is that why did he allow Vinicius to take that penalty?
He's a confident booster.
No, so now they realize that they will be lethal if all of them function optimally. If all of them are playing well. And I think that simple gesture by Kylian Mbappe to allow Vinicius to play the penalty, it speaks of everything that they are trying to achieve in the dressing room.
No, but is it not more of, we've seen times where players know that, Charlie, this guy needs a confident booster. Things are not going well for him. So let's give him opportunity, especially when penalty kick. So you see regular penalty takers hand the ball to players they believe need that. And listen, Vinicius needs it. Because I don't remember the last time in about a football calendar we are talking about Vinicius. All of a sudden, he's gone. We are all talking about Kylian Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, Kylian Mbappe, Lamine Yamal, Osman. He's gone because we thought this boy was going to be all it. Kylian Mbappe walks into Real Madrid, and now that conversation about who the alpha male is dead. It's clearly Kylian Mbappe.
Well, I don't know where you have been listening to those conversations.
Yeah, but that's the truth.
Who have been talking about Lamine Yamal and Kylian Mbappe. I mean, how can you place the two of them in the same sentence? You understand? Lamine Yamal had an unreal season last season. He's not done anything worthwhile. I don't think that Lamine Yamal has been anything better than Vinicius Jr. this season. Oh. You understand? He's not done anything exceptional. But the point is simple. I think that we are seeing Kylian Mbappe because we have never doubted his talent. The guy has always been talented.
Everybody knows.
From 17 years, from moving from Monaco to PSG, and then doing the things that he's doing. You realize that he's somebody that you can constantly rely on. You understand? So I think that we are not too surprised what is happening with Kylian Mbappe now. But more importantly, the guy is playing with some level of confidence. You understand? I mean, it takes a lot to play for Real Madrid.
Yeah.
I've always said that playing for Real Madrid is something that everybody can attest to the fact that it's not really easy. You understand? So it comes with a lot of pressure. You understand? So if you want to do that, if you want to play for Real Madrid, and then you would have to be tough psychologically, you would have to be tough in terms of what it is that you are hearing in the environment. You understand? But I think that he's handled the stage very well. Last season was transitional. Now he looks like somebody who belongs in Real Madrid. You understand? So I am not too surprised what is happening.
Let me get into some messages that I'll get to, Sammy. Lots of messages coming in. Again, we are live on Sport 101 on YouTube. Make sure you send a link to friends. Tell them the guys are back as with their usual witty self, argumentative self, controversial self. I'm doing this with Kofi and Sammy. Anyway, guys, let me take some messages here. Evan says, Barca's problems have always been since 2023. They've only been covering the problems with some, good performances here and there in the season pass. When exposed to a more robust, fluid team, they get exposed. Evans comes back to say how swiftly Hans Flick gets the boys back on track will really define their season. He's lucky to have the international break, giving them some breathing space to re-strategize. Okay, that's coming from Lyrics. Our very own says that, why am I wearing your shirt? I mean, Arsenal. I mean, we are on top of the league. Arsenal. You wait, we'll get to Arsenal and we'll talk about the Arsenal and all that. But don't worry, I'm wearing your shirt because you're on top of the league. Lyrics comes back to say Charlie Slot is a big time fraud. Blame Arsenal, make him win the title this season. That guy is just a Ruben Amorim without the hair. Oh, Charlie, Lyrics, how far? When we get to the Premier League, I mean, we'll expound the discussion further. Benjamin Ayuman says that Anslot is a big fraud. Let me see. We will see and know how poor he is as the gaffer this season. Isaac Migobozi, if I got the name right, says that how come Mr. Asiedu knows so much about Spain? He seriously needs to be investigated. Main Spain. Oh, okay. The part of the conversation. Keep your messages coming in here and make sure you let people know that we are live right here on Sport 101. More importantly, subscribe. Keep your comments coming. We've been talking about the La Liga. We're done with Barcelona. We're looking at Real Madrid bouncing back after that defeat to Atletico Madrid. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll take Sammy's comment. We'll get into the Vinicius discussion a bit further. break. And if you're a business entity and you're watching us, you want to do business with us, our doors are always open. Just send us a message on Sport 101 on YouTube. We'll definitely reach out. I mean, you can just leave a comment in the comment section. Trust me, we are here to expand your business as well. But Sammy, I mean, Real Madrid, yes, they bounced back beautifully against Villarreal, but we saw a bit of the old Vinicius. That's why I want us to center the conversation. What happened to Vinicius? Because you have always said that, and if there's one thing you've always stuck to is your word. Kylian Mbappe was going to and is going to win the Ballon d'Or before Vinicius does win it. Since Kylian Mbappe came to Real Madrid, it was about who was going to be the alpha male. Now I think that conversation is dead. It's Kylian Mbappe. What happened to Vinicius? He seemed to have gone off, but for last Saturday, where he gave us some glimpses, he's been off for about close to a footballing calendar year now.
Well, I think everything has to do with mentality. And the reason why I always say that I think Kylian would win the Ballon d'Or before Vinicius, it has to do with the mindset of the player. We saw it from when he lost out on the Ballon d'Or. How he threw tantrums.
And he said he was going to come back bigger, stronger.
And he said he was going to come back stronger. He was going to prove everybody
10
wrong.
times better than he was.
That. I think it was more about the talking for him than what he does on the pitch.
Yeah.
When you get a brilliant season, the following season you kick it up from there. And it takes that mental strength to be able to keep up that. And that's why, look, the likes of Messi and Cristiano, it will be difficult before we get somebody like
Over
that. It
2
will be very
decades they've been
difficult
there.
until we get another player or even two at the same time like those guys. Reason being that the mental aspect of the game is really, really important. Look, you can have all the skill, you can have all the talent. If you don't put in the work, if you're not strong mentally, it affects you. And that's something that affects a lot of players, a lot of teams. A player like Kylian Mbappe, when he came into Real Madrid at the start of last season, he wasn't really firing. His numbers were not so impressive. And we talked about something that he is a big boy coming into that dressing room. He was a World Cup winner at the time he was coming into that dressing room. But he had not done anything at Real Madrid.
That's true.
So you can't walk into that dressing room with your shoulders high and all of that. There were the likes of Modric in the dressing room at the time. There were the likes
Vinicius.
of Vinicius was even there himself.
Rodrigo.
These guys had seen it all at the
They
club.
won Champions League with Real Madrid.
Exactly.
They won the league
And
with Real
so,
Madrid.
for everything you stand for, when you walk into a dressing room like that, you need to prove why you deserve to be there. And so that's why at the time Vinicius was the poster boy, and when Kylian wasn't really getting the goals and all of that, there were lots of criticisms, and that would have either made him or broken him. So it was up to him to live up to the hype, keep that mentality going, and get the goals. And now we are seeing how well he's settling. He didn't start well last season, but he ended really, really well last season. And he's picking up, from where he ended last season. Now, this is a Vinicius Junior that we know. I think that he's. I want to use the right word. I think he's emotionally fragile. That's the best I can say.
Is he as good as we're made to believe he is?
He is good. He is very good. But again, talent is not enough. When it comes to talent, we've seen him do, really, really well for Real Madrid. We've seen him be even the best player for Real Madrid at some point. So it has nothing to do with how talented the player is, how good he can be. The issue here has to do with the mental aspect of the game. For me, when you have a player that faces certain challenges, he goes away from home, he gets racially abused, he gets booed, then he starts fighting the fans, he starts fighting opposition players, not paying attention to what exactly he needs to do on the pitch. These are some of the distractions that affect you emotionally when you cannot handle it. And look, when you can't handle some of these things, then it becomes a problem with your delivery on the pitch. So for me, it has nothing to do with the talent of Vinicius. It certainly has to do with how he picks himself up, how he, reacts to being dropped to the bench or come off the bench, how he reacts to a player that he is competing with being the main man at the moment. You know that Kylian Mbappe is the one making the biggest sacrifice at the moment.
How so?
Reason being that Vinicius plays in the position that Mbappe prefers to play in. But Mbappe has adapted to that new role he's playing and he's flourishing there. Vinicius, yes, still plays in his favorite position, but you have an Mbappe outshining him in the Real Madrid side. The difference between both players has to do with the mental aspect of the game. One is mentally tougher than the other. Some people, you go through certain patches or certain challenges, and then you feel like you have so much to prove, and so there's a lot of pressure on you, and then you cannot really deliver.
Yeah.
And so I think it was classy from Mbappe to hand him that penalty. I don't think it had anything to do with confidence booster, because Vinicius had already got a goal before that penalty. I think it's more about Jabi Alonso, and he came out to say that yes, Mbappe is still the main man in terms of penalty taking. I think that it's about the team realizing that they need to play as a team. It's not an individual competition. Yes, if everybody gets good numbers, it only goes in favor of the team. But in as much as there's a healthy competition in the team, they need to come together for the good of the team. If we keep talking about, if we can sit here and talk about it, then obviously they know what is going on. So it's not about Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe competition, or who is a better player, or who scores the most goals for Real Madrid. It's about the team winning. And so for me, I think that it all boils down to the mentality of the player. And as it stands now, what is giving Kylian Mbappe that edge over Vinicius in that Madrid side is the fact that he's mentally tougher.
So I really want to know your take on this particular issues, guys. What do you think has gone wrong with Vinicius Jr.? Because clearly, when Kylian Mbappe was coming to Real Madrid, Vinicius was a big boy. Everybody knew that he is the big boy in the team. And especially after the departure of Modric, it was all about Vinicius. But now nobody's even talking about him. And even performance-wise, his performance has dipped in the last 8 months. It's all about Kylian Mbappe. What do you think has gone wrong with Vinicius Jr.? Sammy believes that he's mentally fragile. He believes that he's not too mentally strong compared to a player like Kylian Mbappe. I really want to know your take on this. Let us know in the comment section. Once again, we are live on Sport 101 on YouTube. I mean, you can get this anywhere. Quality at its apex. And let me do some commenting here. And Joseph Achampon says that Slot is replying to lyrics. Slot is an EPL winner in his debut season at England. Something your manager Arteta can never do as a manager. The banter has already started. We'll get to the EPL pretty shortly. And Bingles says that he's enjoying the show. I believe that you're enjoying the show as well. Thank you very much to everyone who has joined us and is watching us live, and for your comments that are coming through. Lots of comments coming through in here. Let me do this one. Replying to Joseph Achampo, he says that he won the league when teams were struggling to find their feet. Liverpool's best position will be fourth this season. Pin this. Okay, the boys have already started the banter here and there. But then again, let us know your thoughts on the happenings in the La Liga. Do you think that Hansi Flick should change, or he should be a man, stick by his principles here and there, and that also the Vinicius aspect? We'll be letting you in on our FPL, which is also up and running. You join and you stand the opportunity of winning some good cash, 3,000 Ghana cedis at the end of the season if you get to top the league. So just follow us, keep watching, and you have the code, and you can also join our FPL this is. But guys, the guys have already started the conversation in here. Let's head to the English Premier League. Over the weekend, someone predicted that we'll see a change at the top, and we did see a change at the top. The conversation out there, Kofi, is Arsenal have no excuse for not winning the league season, and this is the reason why. They believe Pep is evolving, he's rebuilding, he's found a new team, literally trying to put them together. It will take a season or two before this team gels. Liverpool under Slot, this is now Slot's time to prove he's there. Arteta, because he's worked with this team for close to about 7 seasons, 8 seasons, He needed a striker. They've dropped him a striker. Boom. He needed to augment the team. He's augmented with Zubimendi. He's augmented with Eze. He's augmented defensively, with Mascara and all of that. So he has no excuse for not winning the league. And when, the fight came, they actually stood up and did fight well. When Liverpool, everybody expected Liverpool to drop point. Liverpool dropped point. Arsenal, took up the challenge, won. They are now top of the league, 60 points, all being its early days yet. But you see Arsenal, as many have predicted, as this is Arsenal's season to win the league.
Well, I think that I'll make this open declaration on the show. Arsenal will win the league. I am this convinced. I am this convinced. Arsenal win the league. Arsenal will win the league.
This is the third time you've made that.
Arsenal will win the league.
Fourth time.
I think that you look at all of the elements available to Arsenal. I think under Arteta, Arsenal have grown. They have evolved. They are finding ways to win. You understand? Sometimes you do not need to be aesthetically pleasant. Sometimes you need to be nasty. All of the teams that have been super talented, all of the teams that have gone on to win the biggest laurels, they do not always win in one way. They find ways of getting over the line. And I think that in this Arsenal team, with the characters that they have been able to assemble together, with the sort of leadership that is littered around almost every spine of that team, there should be no reason why Arsenal cannot win this league. In terms of player quality, they have the best squad in the league. They have the best squad in the league. Arsenal has almost the best two positions for every other squad number. Left full back, right full back, center back. Look, people are grappling with Konate and Van Dijk.
We'll talk about Liverpool.
People are grappling with them.
We'll talk about Shakira.
You understand? People are grappling with them. Putu, you understand? All of them. You understand? But you look at Arsenal.
They can get us that song. Jeff, get us that song.
You look at Arsenal. You look at Arsenal. Look, in the goalkeeping department, which is a major spine in the team, they have David Raya, one of the unsung heroes in this Arsenal team.
I think he's the best goalkeeper in the
Gets
league.
his job done week in, week out.
Yeah.
If you are able to breach that defense, the last bit of defensive stalwarts that you need to breach is David Raya, and he's about one of the best in the world currently. Look, in the center back position, they have a natural leader in Gabriel, who I think should be made the captain of the team. You understand?
I agree.
In midfield, there are so many leaders in there. Declan Rice, there's Odegaard. There are all of them. You understand? In attack, you're talking about somebody like Gokares, who probably might not be your fanciful captain, but gets the job done, leads the line from the front. And I look at Arsenal. People forget that Arsenal have already played Liverpool.
Yeah.
They've already played Man City.
Yeah.
They've already played Manchester United.
They've played.
They've played Chelsea. They've played Liverpool and they've played Liverpool.
They lost to
Manchester
Liverpool.
United away from home.
Yeah, they drew at home to City and they beat United
Away from home.
Yeah.
So all of the other pretenders, you do not get to rub your shoulders against some of these big boys, seemingly big boys, and then be in the position that Arsenal is. Now, even Odegaard getting injured is not a problem for Arteta.
Are you sure?
Oh, because if Odegaard gets injured, there is Eze who can step in and do the job that Odegaard does, and that's with aplomb.
But if
You understand?
the job
Yes,
that Odegaard does,
no.
I don't think Eze comes close.
No. The point is that no
Is it
player.
more direct?
No. The point is that no player can replicate what exactly his colleague does. You understand? But it is about how you magnify and bring your outputs to the team to raise the team to another level.
That's true.
There are two different kind of players. Odegaard, more like the Berbatov kind of player, sublime, supremely talented, skillful, all of that. You understand? But Eze gets the job done, probably a cheaper, lower version of Odegaard. But it's one of the most effective number 10s you'll find anywhere. Now, all of a sudden, my good friend Bukayo Saka comes in, and it's almost like a brand new signing. Because there's that boy from Chelsea.
Madueke.
Exactly. Now you don't even talk about the fact that there's that Belgian, Trossard, and then there's Martinelli. You look at the depth that Arsenal has. Gabriel Jesus is even injured. Nobody is talking about him. You look at the depth that Arsenal have. And coupled with the fact that it looks like they have the belief, they have the strength, and the manager is learning on the job. You understand? I think that Mikel Arteta, so far, there's something I've noticed about Mikel Arteta this season. It's not been overly loud.
Hey, but you saw
no.
Oh, when they do again, City, even the CEO called them that we've done well and all of that.
No. Sometimes you need to whip up interest in the media. You understand? Sometimes you need to get the attention.
That you've drawn at home against the weekend side.
No, sometimes you need to take away attention from the team, and I think he's learning the dark arts very well.
How much have Arsenal paid you?
How much?
Today it looks like Kofi being an Arsenal.
He's just tickling the Arsenal fans. Yes. I don't know why.
And the comments.
Oh, I'm not tickling anybody. I am just speaking.
Kofi on the platform, especially Arsenal will never
No. There's something that I have seen that you have not seen.
What have you
understand?
Seen?
And give me the benefits of the doubt.
You've gone for some cash.
Prof is smiling in the background. You understand? There are things that Prof and myself have seen that you and Sammy have not seen. You understand? And I am telling you that this trophy is Arsenal's to lose. This trophy is Arsenal's to lose.
We'll get back to what would make Arsenal not win this time. But Sammy, Kofi is literally, serenading the Arsenal fans and making prophecies. He's actually repeated the talk that Arsenal is winning the league on 4 occasions, 4 times. Do you share the same sentiment?
No, I don't. There were times where, look, if there's any team that I would never bet on, it is Arsenal. If there's any team I would never bet on,
not you one
No. I would never bet on Arsenal. Arsenal is that team that would raise your hope, and then when it matters most, they will dash everything.
They are like that beautiful girl you take into your room and you undress her and it's like
No, we
don't know about this episode. You are on your own.
The way Arsenal can dash your hope is just like as you said, when you are ready to do the deal, and then you get up and say you're going to the wardrobe to go and take your raincoat.
Yes.
That raincoat, you know what the raincoat is?
Yes, I know.
That raincoat, that 30 seconds you are going to take the raincoat. Everybody knows an Arjun. That is Arsenal. They destroy everything. And I think that with all the hype around Arsenal and what they should be capable of winning. Again, I agree that Arsenal have the best squad in the league.
That's true.
But I think, as I said earlier on at the beginning of the season, I think that the weakness of this Arsenal side is Mikel Arteta.
How so?
I don't think that he's that manager that will take them that step further. He has taken them as far as he can take
What
them.
has he done wrong so far?
One, I think decision making will cost Arsenal later this season. We've seen it a couple of times. Yes, they are supposed to win the league, but I don't think that Arsenal has the character to win the league. I don't think they have that mental fortitude to win the league. I don't think the manager has that mentality to win the league. The league is wide open this season. Already at the start of the season, we all unanimously agreed that Liverpool will not win the league. We'll get to Liverpool. But Arsenal, Kofi mentioned that they are finding ways and means to win. I think that Arsenal they have only one way to win. When the going gets tough for Arsenal have only one means they resort to. And when teams start defending properly against those balls into the box from Arsenal, then Arsenal will have a difficult time.
But how many teams in the league have multiple ways of winning? At least, like Kofi said, Arsenal have found ways to win when the going gets tough.
Listen,
we saw them do that against Newcastle. We've seen them do that countless times,
Lucky.
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with how Arsenal choose to win. What matters is you win. But sometimes, this is the Premier League. At some point, you'll be found out. When teams get to understand how you do certain things, they also map up strategies on how to counter it. The main thing about football is to put the ball on the turf, score goals through open play.
True.
Now, when Arsenal are having a hard time penetrating the defensive line of their opponents, or they are trying to find an equalizer or the winner, we all know what they do: pumping the balls into the box, getting the crosses in, getting the corner kicks, and then, you know, those second balls in and around the penalty area. That's what they do. And when that doesn't work for them, then it becomes a problem. We saw that in that game against Liverpool.
Against Liverpool.
We saw that
they
in the
lost
game
by a
against
goal to
Liverpool.
them.
They did everything, but Liverpool just had a way of defending those area balls. And so, for me, I think with what Arsenal have, they have a brilliant striker in Gyökeres. I don't think that they are playing to the strength of the player. Arsenal is still playing the same way they were playing last season without a centre forward. Now you have a centre forward. It's supposed to give you a different outlet, a different option. And that's why I feel that Arteta needs to re-strategize, play to the strength of the players on the pitch. Bukayo Saka gets the ball, he still does what Bukayo Saka does. When you have a striker like Gyökeres in the box, and so, for me, I just think that Arsenal are doing the same thing they did last season when they have other options like the striker that they have. So, that, I think, will cost Arsenal. I don't think Arsenal have that mentality to stay. Look, Arsenal can be on top of the league from now to the second week of May. Third week of May, they'll come down from that top position. Look, I keep telling you that Arsenal will not win the league this season. And this is an accumulation of disappointment upon disappointment upon disappointment, because they've been in better positions where they should have run away with the league. How many times have Arsenal played catch up?
Why are you judging this Arsenal team based on previous precedents? Why don't you look at them as a team this season?
No, because they are still doing the same thing they were doing last season.
Which is?
They're still playing the same way. We criticize Arteta and Arsenal for knowing what the problem of Arsenal was last season, which is to bring in an out-and-out striker to get them the goals. That's why they heavily relied on set pieces. That was their top scorer last season, set piece.
Set piece
yes.
was their top scorer.
Check. The top scorer for Arsenal last season. And they didn't do that. Now, they've finally done that, brought in some quality attacking players. Top of that list is Victor Gyökeres. And they are still playing the same way they were playing last season. And so I really don't see the point. Last season, a lot of teams didn't play up to standard. They didn't pull their weight. That's why Liverpool ran away with the league. Not to say they don't deserve it, but now we've seen that, we mentioned the fact that teams will definitely go into the transfer window and augment their squad. And then, improve the quality of their squad, and we will see an improvement in how the teams play.
That's true.
Last season, there was no way Chelsea were going to beat Liverpool, but we are seeing it now. And so, for all what Arsenal is doing as it stands now, I don't think they're doing anything different from what they did last season. Maybe, yes, they've gotten some good results here and there, but I just think that at some point, we will see Arsenal slip up, especially if they get one or two injury situations. Then we're going to see how Arteta, if Arteta is going through what Hansi Flick is going through at Barcelona, then I'm eager to see how he gets to manage this side. I think that for all the quality Arsenal have, the weakest link in this Arsenal side is Mikel Arteta.
We have two opposing, views in relation to Arsenal this season. But one thing that is unanimous is what's happening in the comment section. If you are not there, you're definitely missing out. So, get into the comment section, drop your comment, and shout out to all those that have joined us and watching us live. We appreciate you so much. Send a link to your friends, share the link. We're live on Sports 101. This is a sports morning show. You can't get it anywhere else. It's fun. It's witty. It's everything. So our apostle just joined us, say that Charlie, he was in class. We appreciate your support. If Arsenal don't win the league, if Arsenal don't win the league title this season, then we would all know Arteta is the problem, because when we talk of squad depth in Europe, top flight, no one comes close. That's coming from Benjamin again. Someone already says that I agree with Sammy with everything said about Vinicius, but I disagree. He's flopping. I think his numbers are good this season. Also, Benjamin comes back to say we don't need Kofi's prophecies before Arsenal wins the trophy. Kofi, they say keep your prophecy. Keep your false prophetic hopes down, and they don't even need it. Benjamin says, Sammy, reward. We know Kofi why. Apostle comes back and say, Cash, he's back. His morning is sorted. Kofi, kindly tackle Barcelona. Oh, he's done that. Yeah, Apostle, sorry you missed that. Azay, okay, Apostle says he was in class. Kofi is just setting traps for Arteta. That's coming from Apostle. Kofi looks like they don't believe. The guys don't believe.
A prophet is not regarded in
it is own time.
Yeah.
When it happens, they will know you are telling the truth.
Oh, yeah,
anyway, let me take this one also from lyrics. If you can't beat them, join them. Kofi is just trying to save himself from the trolls from Arsenal fans come May when number 14 finally comes back home. Apostle says he wants to create a fertile ground in order to pounce on them when they misbehave. So I don't know which one is which. Larry says that you are creating the platform so that when Arsenal fans win the league, you don't get trolled. Apostle says that no, you're also creating the ground where when things get messy, you can fire them. Let's see what happens. I think Apostle says, but where is Gokares? Does he play at all? Oh, obviously, he does play. Gokares is a scam. He cost me in my FPL game 7. Oh, yeah, Semo. But Kofi, what can go wrong for us? You guys have said they have all the ingredients. Some believe that the only thing that can go wrong for us is the manager.
Well, I think I agree with Sammy, and we've all agreed on that. That's the one variable that has the potential to change all of Arsenal's prophetic destiny has to be Mikel Arteta.
But you know, prophecies can come and you can also mess it up by your actions.
We will go into theology later.
Arteta will mess the prophecy up.
Like Sammy said, I think that the one variable that has the potential to alter that destiny that Arsenal carries this season has to be Mikel Arteta. You understand? But so far, I think he's handled himself very well. So far, he's learning to make the right changes at the right time. And he is varying his squad according to the opponent and the strengths that the opponent possesses. You understand? So I think that the only thing that could go wrong for Arsenal this season, and then Arsenal have to find a way of integrating Gokares fully into their squad.
Why are they struggling to?
It takes time.
Maximize because
you know
when we did the preview, I said they should play through him.
No. It takes time. It takes time. You know, when you have forwards who have hit double figures in multiple seasons, they do not always shy away from their old ways. You have Saka, you have Martinelli, you have all of those guys who are capable of getting double goals and have done it time without number. You understand? Now, all of a sudden, if you are telling them to alter their game because there's a new arrowhead, it takes time. And people need to realize that that sort of chemistry. You know, the same thing is happening to Benjamin Sesko at Manchester United. Now, I've listened to podcasts which are sought to suggest that all of these players, number 9s who have come to Manchester United, they have not been fed very well. Look, when you go to other teams, then the number 9s are being fed. Look at what is happening to Højlund. I mean, sorry for the digression, but you look at the sort of service that he's getting. You look at Arsenal's game. Ask yourself simple questions. Is Gokares getting that level of service? No. So I think that it will take time. It will take time, but when it does finally happen, it could be deadly.
The one thing that did finally happen was, I mean, a lot of people actually expected Liverpool to lose to Chelsea. That for me, I was wondering why people expected Liverpool to lose to Chelsea because I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think this Chelsea team is not good. But for some reason, people expected Chelsea to beat Liverpool, and it didn't happen. We'll talk about Liverpool as a team, but Chelsea, genuinely, I think that we were deceived what happened at the Club World Cup. You've always said that tournament was a glorified friendly game, and most of the teams, especially the big teams, came in there tied and all of that. Chelsea found their way. It happens once in a while. You beat some of these big boys, but the team itself, genuinely, I predicted Chelsea to win the league, but why are you laughing? My team need one yardy.
Oh, Wanyadi.
No. Chelsea won Yadi.
Wanyadi.
But
And you know, the funny part is that they have a bang average coach.
Yes.
I mean, that's the funny part.
why,
They-
Sammy,
they
why
are-
did I predict
they are-
Chelsea to win the league?
No, I still think Chelsea will win the
No, Chelsea will win.
You are trying to
I mean,
get Chelsea side.
even on PlayStation, Chelsea can
Chelsea
win.
Yadi.
No.
No, even
Did
on
you watch?
PlayStation,
Did you
they
watch?
cannot win the league.
The game.
I don't know why. I don't know
Yadi.
why we are here making excuses for the likes of Arsenal, and then Gyökeres needs time, and then it everything is time, and then we are talking
Why
about
should we-
Barcelona having injuries. Have you looked at the Chelsea side?
Which-
they lost their two centre halves in that game.
When they are inside, they are not good.
When
Chalobah, but who?
they've beaten the champions, they've beaten Liverpool.
No, Sammy.
I told you the other time that save that red card, Chelsea would have beaten Man United. at
Oh,
Old
no,
Trafford.
Chelsea won Yadi.
Sammy.
No, look,
Sammy.
that game, when it was 10 against 10 in that second half, who won the second half? Even when it was 10 against 11. This Chelsea side, I think maybe it's good for the team that a lot of people are running them down and underrating this
But they are
Chelsea
not
side.
good. I don't know if people have taken King. This Chelsea team is not good.
I don't know
make
what
silly
exactly it
mistakes.
is that
They don't
they are
have
looking
good
for
players.
from
They
this
are only
Chelsea
about
side.
2 or 3 players
yeah,
that
three-
can
only three
three players that
Only
can
three
that can
players.
walk into any of the
Only
top
three
teams in the
players.
world. If you have like
Kopama,
11-man
Caicedo,
team
and their
and just
captain.
3
Yeah.
can walk into any of the big teams, then
Only
your team is
Kopama,
not good.
Caicedo, and their
That's
captain.
30%.
I think look,
Yeah.
when you look at this Chelsea
Chelsea do not
side,
have quality.
and
That's
Chelsea don't have quality.
you look at the fact that they have some young players coming through the ranks. I don't agree with some of the signings that Chelsea have made. One thing I admire about this Chelsea side, they might not have the best squad, but when it comes to that fighting spirit, that is what Chelsea has.
Oh, you don't need
above
you
a
don't,
lot of-
there's
no, true.
character that's the fighting spirit that will
True.
win the league.
And that's what they showed at Old Trafford.
But then you need to
Again,
do
Chelsea
your-
would have beaten this
if
Man
they was
United
fighting.
side if not for that red card.
Like if he's saying, if it is about fighting spirit, then you should
Look,
their sport
we
is
saw
here.
what happened against Liverpool. It wasn't a fluke that Chelsea beat Liverpool. Liverpool are the champions, aren't they?
Yes.
They are the Premier League
But
champions.
the champions,
everybody is beating.
everybody
This
is
Arsenal that we are here out, beat this Arsenal side.
Galatasaray beat
beat
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Crystal Palace
Everybody
beat
is
Liverpool.
beating Liverpool.
Yes, but
So
if
Chelsea beat Liverpool.
then it would have been a big deal. But this Liverpool side beat this Arsenal side that we are saying will win the league. So I keep telling you every time that football is not mathematics. There are things that we have to look at in the game. And look, from what we see with this Chelsea side, I think that this Chelsea side are very difficult to beat.
This Chelsea team.
Yes, very difficult to beat.
Ironically, I think that
I am
this
not a
Chelsea
Chelsea
team
fan.
is the most
I think
easiest
that
team
they are
to
very
beat because
difficult to
they
beat.
make a lot of errors. So force them into positions where the errors will come on its own. And it was evident in that Bayern Munich game. Which of the Chelsea centre backs would you pick
Nobody.
to
No,
be
I'm
in the
always
United, in the
I'm always
United
maintain
team?
that. I'm
Who's
always
going to
maintain
unseat
that.
Euro?
I can't even
Who's
give
going
you.
to unseat?
I can't even give
Nobody.
you the back line of Chelsea. I can't even off the top of my head. I keep getting lots of long names.
Even the
I can give
attackers.
you that. But what I keep saying is that team spirit that Chelsea have, a lot of the teams do
Oh,
not
team
have.
spirit does not win you the league.
And look, even for the lack of quality that you say that this Chelsea side do not have, we are seeing them getting some good results. Yes, they've not gotten a lot of good results. Enzo Maresca, I think, also just like Arteta, has made a lot of bad decisions. Maybe this season Arteta hasn't made bad decisions, but he will make in the future. But Enzo Maresca, as it stands now, has made bad decisions. In that Man United game, his changes were terrible. We've seen him made bad in his in-game management. I think has a lot of buts. He needs to improve on that. But I think that if Chelsea have the full complement of their squad, if Chelsea have
Now, full compliment of the
listen.
squad. But no one.
if Chelsea have their Cole Palmer in the squad, if Chelsea, Liverpool, yes, he's one of their top players. He's at the back line for Chelsea. If Chelsea have, what's his name? Delap.
You don't even know the
It's
players.
the striker I'm talking about.
Delap.
No, I think it's ironic. That,
Oyadi.
I think it's ironic that we will sit here and make excuses for Barcelona and
Oyadi.
say that Chelsea.
But-
We will see Chelsea against Barca in the Champions
The
League.
lap on Yadi.
We will see Chelsea against
beat
Barcelona.
Chelsea.
We will see Chelsea against Barcelona.
beat Chelsea
On
with two.
paper, you will say that they have a better squad, but I can bet you that Barcelona will not beat Chelsea in the
Barcelona
Champions League.
beat Chelsea with 2-2.
Chelsea, you can look at the team on paper and say that this team is not all that, but they are very difficult to beat. And that's why I still maintain that if the season keeps going as it's going, if Chelsea get their best player back in the squad, if they get Delap, who I think gives them a different option going forward, we saw glimpses of that at the Club World Cup. If they get him in the team playing very well. We've seen Sevilla come in. He's a very young player. We know what he's capable of. He can learn.
What is he capable of?
He got a winner. He got the winner against Liverpool. That's a typical example. That's a typical example of what he's capable of. If Chelsea get their acts right and they get a run of consistent results, I think that Chelsea are in that shout for winning the Premier League.
Kofi, it's Chelsea a good team. Is this Chelsea a good team?
You know,
No, because if you tell me that Chelsea are not in the running for winning the Premier League, who is in the running?
Arsenal is 58.
you know,
Liverpool are.
You know, when Sammy told me that I've taken money to give a lot of serenading to Arsenal, I think Sammy has taken money.
I say we should say seriously.
I don't know why Sammy can watch this Chelsea team and have even the slightest of conviction that they can win the league. That is very strange. That is very unlike Sammy.
I'm shocked.
You know, because, I mean, normally Sammy's judgment is very much on point.
Yeah.
But to think that Sammy even has the slightest of ideas
That Chelsea will
and
win the league.
conviction
That
that Chelsea will win the league, for me, it is quite worrying.
And you
Very
think this Chelsea
worrying.
team is good enough?
The Chelsea team is not good enough.
I agree.
No, listen. Chelsea has only 3 good players. Cole Palmer, Caicedo, Reece James.
Or maybe you want to throw in Fernandes on the
Enzo? Enzo is not better than... No.
Fernandes.
Enzo is not better than anybody.
Yeah, that's true.
The only players who can go into top teams and make things
Rub
happen
shoulders with other players there.
are the 3 players I've mentioned.
On Monday.
You understand? You know, when people were buying centre backs, you were buying 11 wingers. Chelsea bought 11 wingers.
Oh my
But
God, I
no
don't feel
centre
that.
backs. In the past, Chelsea teams have been built on solid defensive partnerships.
And midfield partnerships.
Not even beyond the midfield partnerships. All of the Chelsea teams which have been successful in the past, from Jose Mourinho, pre-Jose Mourinho, you understand? All of them.
Yeah.
You have had recognizable individuals fill the centre-back position.
Yeah.
There's nothing like this with this Chelsea team.
Yeah.
And the second thing that people need to realize is that the Club World Cup was a Mickey Mouse tournament. I mean, you cannot gauge that result and tell the whole world that Chelsea is the best club in the world. I think that it's akin to fanfooling.
That's true.
You understand? I mean, that title they seemingly carry around, I mean, that is the best club in the world, whatever. They are not the best club in the world. Obviously, the best club in the world cannot even rub shoulders against their contemporaries in Europe. You understand? They cannot rub shoulders against some of the very best in the league they play in. But beyond that, I think that against Liverpool, Chelsea showed, like Sammy said, Chelsea showed a lot of character. There's one thing that has been symbolic about all Chelsea team of all ages. Maybe this Chelsea team does not have the quality that some of the teams that predates them or precede them have. But there's one thing, one quality that you cannot take away from Chelsea. Character.
Yeah.
Strength. Mental strength.
Yeah, no bobo.
Oh, you know, when the battle is keenest, bring Chelsea.
Yeah.
Even when they are often, they will show up.
Now, as for that, you can't
You
take,
understand?
you can't
I
take
mean,
that away from
I
Chelsea.
think that
When you
I
remember he had the ball,
I think that it's one character that is quietly defining the club.
Yeah.
And that's what
When-
leads them to the top of the table.
Well, whether
you
it
can
leads
have-
them to the top of
We've
the
said
table,
this time and
I
time
mean,
again that look,
no.
if you put Man United and you put Chelsea, player for player, United have the better players. Yeah. If you put Liverpool and you put Chelsea, player for player, Liverpool have better players.
But
But
it's the
as a
mentality.
team,
Yeah, it's the mentality.
as a team,
For me,
Chelsea,
the-
Chelsea outweighs both sides when it comes to playing as a team and that mental aspect.
Well, I think that the mentality was quite on spot, and mentality was quite on spot because it was also quite easy to play against the opponent in question.
Yeah.
I mean, the point is simple: slot.
Let's get into that conversation.
Slot.
Did he ride on a team that had a very strong foundation from Klopp? Because the last batch of that was Luis Diaz.
Yeah.
When he left to
The
Bayern
remnants
this
of
season,
it.
last remnant. Salah, we know his age and everything will take you to store. He will not be the Salah. He will not. I mean, give you week in, week out.
No.
So did he ride on that?
Well, I think
that
he might.
we didn't see
well,
the true slot.
Well, the truth of the matter is, the last season we saw a micromanagement by Klopp on Slot's team. You understand? I think that it was virtually Klopp's team that had a touch of micromanagement by Slots, and then the players knew what it is that they wanted, and also you realize that last season a lot of the variables went in favor of Liverpool. I mean, all of the major opponents were seemingly not too consistent. Liverpool was brutally consistent. Even if you don't want to give it to them, they were absolutely brutally consistent. You understand? The point is simple. I think that I have seen it from a long time.
You saw it when?
The Slot
yeah.
is a terrible bank average. Bank average. You know, you do not take a coach from the Dutch league who Amorim is better, Ten Hag. Ten Hag is better than. All of a sudden around Liverpool, and everybody thinks that this is Slots. This is the guy who is supposed to build another dynasty. I think the last season they got away with Meda.
What is
it that Slot brings to the table?
You tell us.
The guy cannot make right changes. The guy cannot set the tone of the team right. Look, if you watch Liverpool, the intensity has dropped. The intensity has dropped. Look at all of the variables of Liverpool last season. Just oppose it with this season. All of the variables are going south.
But you cannot have the same intensity when you've moved away from Klopp, because Klopp brought that, Gengen pressing, intense pressing from the front. You can't have that same intensity.
We probably are speaking the same language, but we are using different illustrations. Sami spoke about the fact that it's about the mentality. It's about the fighting spirit. You look at this Liverpool team now. There is seemingly no semblance of what it is to be a top team,
because they've lost 3 games in a row.
No. In terms of the body language of the players on the pitch, you understand. You look at Liverpool teams under Klopp. When the going was even against them, you realize that they had a belief that moment will come. But under Slot, you watch Liverpool go down by a goal, and in your head, you are thinking that where is the equalizer coming from? Even though on the bench, they have all of the ingredients that should make a good meal. Because if you have Issa, if you have Eketike, if you have Mohamed Salah, if you have, what's the name of that Dutch boy? Gakpo. You understand? If you have all of these, Soboslai, all of them, then the question has to be that, who is it that is putting all of the ingredients together? Now, Liverpool are easy to play through in midfield. They are easy to play through in defense. They have a terrible defense. So you ask yourself simple questions again. Where are the foundations that should be laid so that a great team can be built on?
But we're told they have the best defender in the Premier League in Virgil van Dijk.
Oh, that school of thought was perpetuated by naive people who do not understand the dynamics of what it takes to engage in proper intellectual discourse.
Is he one of the easiest defenders to play against?
Van Dijk is
when
not,
you know him.
No. Van Dijk is not top 10 all-time best EPL player in defenders. He's not top 10. He's not top 10.
So why do people rate him?
No, because when it's your time, and in this Gen Z era where people like to show statistics like not dribbled past,
because
he's always running away from battles, you understand? Not dribbled past and all of that. But we have watched centre backs are supposed to be dirty. If you're a centre back and your clothes are always clean, you are not a centre back. I want centre backs like Nemanja Vidic. I want centre backs like John Terry. I want centre backs like Ricardo Carvalho. I want centre like Nemanja Vidic, Vincent Kompany. You understand? You look at them, they get dirty. Sergio Ramos, he can play one back. You understand? But you look at Van Dijk. I've told you in private that if I have the option of playing one back, I'll play with Sergio Ramos at the back.
Yeah.
He can cover every blade of glass at the back. So you look at Van Dijk, you look at all of the deception, And I think the time has rightly exposed all of the theory.
And he keeps making the same mistakes. He turns his back, and this is not the first time he's done that and goals have been like I've seen countless goals. Liverpool it's the same Van Dijk trying to apparently or he defends spaces, and he will turn his back. And I've seen a lot of memes going around there. Someone was in the midst of Shakira.
Well, I think that the Liverpool situation is quite terrible, and it will take some level of diligence from Slots.
Are we not overplaying the situation? Is it just not one of those?
It is a crisis. It is a crisis. It is a crisis because I ask you 3 simple questions. One, all of the players that Slots bought in the course of the summer, which one of them has performed? No one.
Oh, Ekitike.
No one of them has performed. Okay, fine.
Every time.
Fine. Ekitike.
Yeah.
Who else?
Vich.
Who?
Vich. This is the conversation I think a lot of people are scapegoating.
Hold on.
7.
Hold on.
7.
Hold on. Is it hold on.
He's not a striker. He's a creator in the team. And he's done that. Created the most big chances in the league this season. 7. Is it his fault to put about it?
Hold on.
What should he do?
You know, when you like to dive into semantics like you are diving in now, it is quite problematic.
Why do you think he has not? You claim he's not so far. He's been a
Has he been able to put his stamp in the league?
Yes.
Oh, how?
Sammy, what
When
is
you
his
create
role?
big chances which are not being converted, then it means that the big chances have a problem.
No,
How do you say
this
that?
same Lucky will come and tell us
How
that
do you
Benjamin
say that?
Sesko has been a flop at United so far. And
Did
then you
I
ask,
say that?
Yes.
Where?
You ask yourself
When?
what kind of service he has been getting.
Yeah.
So is it his fault he's not getting service?
So
Same way you're saying, is it Vit's fault these chances?
So
are
my
not being
point is,
converted?
what is his role in that setup? He's supposed to play the 10, and he's doing it perfectly. Create the chances.
And he
So
doesn't
far,
have one
in
assist
8
in the league.
games,
One assist.
yes, in 8 games, he's created 7 big chances. The numbers are there.
And
No,
you know
you
why?
can
Then-
big
then-
chances,
then-
but they
then-
can-
what are
They
the
are
chances?
not being converted by the strikers who are supposed to convert the chances. How do you blame him?
Would these big chances give 3 points?
How do you blame him?
Look, at the start of the season, I said that Liverpool will struggle. And one of the reasons I gave was, one, it is difficult for you to win the league and defend the league. That's the reason why it's only a handful of teams that have defended the league. That's why Arsenal is not in that category. That's why Arsenal have never defended the league. For Arsenal winning the Premier League, since it became the Premier League, they've never defended it. They've never won the league back to back.
Arsenal have a problem.
They're asking you, how can you call a team that's second, a team that is in crisis?
So
You guys are overblowing the situation.
look, so Liverpool winning the league, it's a different kind of motivation when you are going all out for something. It's different when you eventually get it.
Yeah.
The mentality to go for it again is different.
I think that this
And
team
that's
doesn't have
why
it.
you have to credit managers like Sir Alex, managers like Jose Mourinho, managers like Pep,
4
who
times.
have done it back to back. So for Klopp and his Liverpool guys, it's a different mentality defending something that you've already won. As is a Slot, I said Klopp, Slot. Now Slot himself, when giving that, I saw his interview where he was asked, would he rather win the Premier League or the Champions League? And he said he'd rather win the Champions League this season than the Premier League.
Because he's done the Premier League.
Exactly. So it tells you that the mindset and the motivation and everything is different. Again, Liverpool have made quite a number of signings. The team that won the league last season, you have about 4 different players in that starting 11. The 2 fullbacks.
So there's Kekes,
There's
there's
Kekes,
Frimpong,
there's Frimpong.
there's
Now
Vit,
you have Vit coming
there's
in,
Ekitike,
there's
there's
Ekitike coming
Alexander
in,
Isak.
and then Isak. So let's say at least 4 new players in that starting 11. It creates a different kind of telepathy in the team. When you have a different striker in, when you have a different number 10 in playing with Salah, even Salah, he hasn't really kickstarted this season. You have 2 new fullbacks. it's different when they have to play together. It's a different ball game when you have a team like Arsenal, for example. That's why I've not been impressed with Arsenal. That have done something, they have been close to something, and you have one missing piece of the puzzle, which is the striker. You bring in that striker, as Sir Alex did with Van Persie, and that's supposed to make the difference and utilize him. And Arsenal are still doing the same thing. That's why I have a problem with them. If it were to be Arsenal are supposed to. It's no surprise they are top of the league. They are supposed to be there because they've made the change where necessary in that Arsenal team.
But Arsenal too have brought in close to about 4 new signings. Mosquera, they brought in Eze, they brought in
Madueke,
they brought in
No. Without all those players, if Arsenal played with the same team last season and brought in,
they'll still be good.
Still be.
Okay.
And even with the new players, Partey left and Zubimendi came in.
Yeah.
It is still Declan Rice and Odegaard partnering him. Eberechi Eze has come in, yes. He's playing ahead of whether it's Martinelli or whoever it is. Mosquera, if there's Gabriel and Saliba there, he will not start.
That's true.
So it's practically the same team.
What do you think?
Arteta has done something really good in the last game. I saw him play with more like 2 number 10s because he had Declan Rice as a 6 and he had Odegaard and Eze, which is different.
What do you think has attributed to Liverpool's 3 major losses? Because yes, Crystal Palace, Oliver Glasner, brilliant. But for Everton, Jack Grealish's late winner, they will be the only team in Europe not to have been beaten, together with Bayern Munich. But Crystal Palace is a stubborn side. They've been like that for about 2-3 seasons. So losing against them, it's okay. They go away to Europe, they lose against Galatasaray. Okay. They play against Chelsea, one of the supposed contenders. They lose. What do you think has accounted for these 3 major losses? And right now, all the talk is about, Slot is not the man we thought he was. What do you think is the problem?
I think Liverpool have a bad defensive line. I don't think the Liverpool defense is helping because Liverpool concede goal every game.
Have they ever had a good defense?
Yes. They have.
When had Liverpool had a very good
Liverpool
defense?
have had, when you've been heralding Van Dijk and all of that, teams have had a hard time playing against Liverpool. But now, the way we sit here and analyze it, the same way they also sit there and analyze it, and they're professionals. Now they've realized that players like Van Dijk or Konate, they back up all the time. Nobody wants to go in for that tackle.
I don't know what's wrong with that.
You have, usually when you have a 4 and 5, one is always
Dirty.
that's dirty player.
They're always
And then the other one
backing
is,
away from challenges.
yes. But both of them, this is not the first time we've seen a goal like that.
Bournemouth
Semenyo do
and
that.
Semenyo do that. They were all backing away.
So players know that when they run at the Liverpool backline, they will not go in for the tackle. And so you keep backing up and backing up and backing up. You want the player to make a decision. You have your back to goal. He is seeing what is ahead, and he picks his spot and gets a shot away. So I think that the Liverpool defense is a problem.
Okay.
Van Dijk needs to up his game. I think he shies away from tackles a lot. Konate, I don't think has been up to speed. I don't know if it has to do with who is in front of the back 4 or whatever it is, but to a very large extent, I still think that the changes in that Liverpool side has brought a little bit of instability in that team, because you have Mohamed Salah who is used to playing in a certain way, and all of a sudden he has Florian Wirtz and then Nekitike or the other striker, the rebel.
Alexander Isak.
Yeah, Alexander Isak.
You call him the rebel?
Yeah, he was a rebel. He forced his way out of Newcastle, and so for him, it's a bit difficult to adjust to some of these things when you make wholesale changes, and the defense is not helping. I don't think it's a problem that Liverpool have goal scoring problems. They score goals in almost every game.
Keteke has 7 goals,
but they concede almost 2 goals per game.
That's true.
And so Liverpool need to look at their backline. Look at the goal they conceded against Chelsea. Robertson caught ball watching. And then he had to allow Estevao get that goal at the back post. So for me, I think Liverpool need to look at the defense and sort out that defensive line, because that's where the problem is for Liverpool. The reason why Arsenal are top of the league is Arsenal hardly concede goals. It's not because Arsenal blow teams away. they get their goal and then they make it difficult for you to score. But Liverpool are scoring goals, but they're still leaking in goals. And for all the hype around Van Dijk and Konate and all of that, I think that Slot needs to look at his back line and then get Van Dijk actually leading the line.
I don't know if the link is up so that I mean my guys who want to call in and also we can hear from them is ready. If it's ready, you just signal me and we'll be ready to go. So let me do some messages, and guys, thank you so much for sticking with us for the show. I mean, we appreciate your support. Let me do your messages that have come through this morning. It says that the entire Chelsea team isn't that extraordinary, but what makes Chelsea a difficult team to beat or a contender is because of the depth in squad, which is an advantage in the long run. Do Chelsea have depth? I mean, really? How do you bring in over 5 players to alter the team that won the league last season? Exactly. That's coming from Apostle there. So let me do this coming from, so I've read this message. How can you tell a team in second in crisis get serious? Liverpool would win the league again. I like how Sami Reward is going hard at Arsenal. It tells how convinced he is now that we are a force to reckon with. I would dedicate the league title win for him in May, and we'll defend it. Okay, this is lyrics come back, which says Amorim says hi, and United fans don't live in reality, still in the Fergie era. That's coming from Francis Bote Beidou. There, keep your messages coming in the comment section. This is Sport 101, our sports morning show. Listen, you cannot get this anywhere else, especially in Africa, in Ghana. It's only one place where you want, unadulterated quality sports content. Sport 101 is the place to be. So we are on YouTube, on Facebook. So just, type, Sport 101 on YouTube. If you have not subscribed, you're missing out on a lot. Subscribe, keep the notification button on. Make sure when we are live, you get the notification. This is where sport really belongs. I don't know, is the link up? Okay, all right. We'll try and put a link up hopefully on Thursday. The show comes on every Monday and Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. And so come Thursday, trust me, it will be fire again as it has been this morning. We'll put a link up where you can have access to call in via live video, and you get to see us, and we also get to see you communicate on video via phone lines and everything right here on Sport 101. If you've not joined our FPL link, also make sure you join the link. It's on the bottom corner there, you can see. And the winner at the end of the season gets some whooping cash prizes. I don't know where I am on the table because I've not really taken it serious. Me show them in the last. Sami too. Me show them one or that. As for Kofi, I don't want to.
No, I'm not last.
You're not last.
Kofi is
because it's been 2 weeks. I've not really.
You have touched it.
No,
yeah,
2 weeks.
I know. I've seen your tweet.
2 weeks.
No, I've seen
last week. So, maybe 2-3 weeks. Me sheti. Yeah, better 3 weeks. Me sheti.
So how is he getting?
I'm not make it. Me for the serious. You guys, you will be nowhere. So if you want to be part, because I want to win the 3K, the winner gets 3K. Anyway, Sami, you guys comment. It was our first episode.
Yeah, first episode. I think thank you to all the people. Who have always patronized Sports 101. Yeah. We can only grow bigger and better with them. You understand? And for me, I am quite amazed and happy at the support and the kind of traction that we have garnered on YouTube this morning. We just have to say to them that thank you, and then we promise them that this is something which is here to stay. You understand? We will be doing it every Monday. Yeah. And Thursday. I know that when a lot of people have reached out to me privately about extending the days, but we'll try and grow it organically. But I think that it's been worthwhile.
Yeah, and Sami.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm really excited about the fact that the guys are on board, and we've had a good time on the show. Thursday we'll be back, and then we continue with our live on YouTube. So we're grateful for all the support, all the comments, and all the recommendations that the guys recommend, and we're just excited about everything. But again, the Black Stars have a game this week.
Oh, yeah.
The game will be before our next live session.
So we'll get to analyze
so we'll
the
get to
team better.
analyze the game after. We'll get to see what Otuado does with his Black Stars side.
Otuado is already at the World
They're going away from home. So we'll
Central African Republic.
yes, the game will be in Morocco.
It'll be played in
beat them.
Morocco. Yeah.
We'll see how well the Black Stars do. We'll talk about that on Thursday and a few other trending stories on Thursday. So we're grateful to all the guys for sharing the link and for commenting, for supporting. Let us know what you think, what ideas you have and everything, and we're glad to listen.
And then more importantly, if you are looking to advertise anything with us, you can always reach out to the people who handle the
Just drop a comment
various
in the comment section.
outlets. Yes, I mean just drop a comment in the comment section, and then we'll reach out to you and we'll do business together.
Yeah. So, I mean, you heard from the guys. I mean, the whole Western and Central region, the best. They are the best. I did this with Kofi Asiedu, Sammy Reward. It's been an amazing show this morning. And like they said, we'll be back on Thursday, 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. That's when the show, kicks off every Monday and Thursday right here on Sport 101. This has been our Sports Morning Show.